How's it going, guys? So this is a late night review for One Piece chapter 879, title Big Mom Commander Dogtooth, and why Dogtooth got a $1 billion bounty. That's what it be. Okay, here we go. So we start off the chapter from we start off this chapter from the previous chapter, which is essentially we are assuming it's gonna be the death. It was the death of Pedro. He essentially sacrificed himself so the Straw Hat, the pirate crew could get away. And sulking Brooks, let's call him Brooks, he's sulking. He's like, you know what? I quote, it's like, if we were only stronger, they could have done more. And Chopper's crying, and they're all crying, the two girls crying. And Juby, he's like, essentially, it's like, fuck that, you guys. You know what? He sacrificed himself so we could get away. Let's get the hell out. And yeah, I love the part when Chopper just bulk up, because I think it's hilarious every time that I see like this little guy bulk up to like 10 times the size. So they're trying to escape, but then who's after him? Big Mom. Big Mom, she's riding this massive candy, giant candy that's floating. Well, it seems like at first it seems like it was floating on top of the water, but then there was a pan out and showed that she was riding on this massive candy. But however, it's stuff from the ground up. So it's like an iceberg. You know how an iceberg, you can see just the tip of it. That's what she's riding on, but the bigger mass is at the bottom. It's at the bottom of the sea. So that's what she's riding on. And then you guys, this chapter is new to me. This series is new. I'm just starting off at 879 because I think that's a good place to start, because on this chapter there's a big fight coming up. And yeah, and I've got the guy with the tongue right now. So the last chapter, you guys, this is my first review, and the last chapter, the guy with the tongue, he's got his hand blown off. So solution, I can make candy. He replicate his arm with candy, and it's like, yo, it's good to go. It's good to go, and I'm good. And then he's like, you know what? It's my arm's still made of candy, but however, if it's on a hot day, if I'm having tea or coffee, you know, I could put my arm into the tea or coffee, and I could just for an added flavor. I thought it was hilarious. Fucking One Piece. There's always something going on. Okay, so that's what's happening. The crew from Star Hat, Big Mom's catching up, and of course Susie's not there, and she's probably chasing those cloud balls. And yeah, so Big Mom's catching up, and they're trying to escape. The guy with the tongue got his arm back, and then we cut to a scene with Sanji and Pudding's being wrapped in his flying carpet. And there's other characters with them as well. I don't remember her name at the moment. And they're going to Cocoa Island to get some more ingredients so they can make Big Mom her cake, the cake that she wanted. So, yeah. Okay. So that was a brief conversation. That's, I think it was on like 1 or 2 page tops. And then we cut off to the mirror world, which is of course Luffy is staring off at a Dogtooth, and this is it. This is the fight that we have been waiting for, and we get to see how strong Dogtooth is. And of course, these two guys are just staring off. And since they're in the mirror world, they're in a Dogtooth. I won't say ground, like Dogtooth's side. And of course, with him, there's a bunch of his crew, essentially his crew. He's subordinate, and they're just staring off, and his crew's like, yeah, Dogtooth, get him. And so who made the first move? Luffy. Luffy's like, screw that, I've been waiting for too long for this. And he attacked him. He armed himself up, and he attacked him with Hawk Gatling, which is, it just goes everywhere. It goes everywhere. But of course, Dogtooth is like, you know what? What you could do, I could do better. I could do the same, but better, because essentially it's like, you are rubber and I am mochi, and mochi is stronger than rubber. I'm like, what the hell? Also, mochi was like this small candy, and then rubber is just rubber. How's that possible? But regardless, Luffy went all out with his hog Gatling, and it seems like it had no effect. Like nothing really happened. It just like, it is what it is. Dogtooth's like, is that it? Is that it? So then we skip to page 16, and we get to see Luffy fall back for a bit, and he bit on his thumb, and he was arming himself up for an elephant gun, or an elephant punch. And we move on to page 17, and this elephant gun, I keep saying gun, is it gun or punch? I think it's punch. And in this page on page 17, it's the biggest punch there is. It's the biggest punch in the series so far, and it's huge. So he just jumping forward, he went all out with this gun essentially. But however, Dogtooth is like, that's it. So just imagine that this is his elephant gun from Luffy, and Dogtooth is like that much bigger. So he tried to hit him, but Dogtooth fired back and essentially just overpower him and just knock him back to the wall. And then we came to the end of the chapter, which is essentially Dogtooth just standing above him, just like, you're my bitch, essentially. And we get to see Luffy's on the ground, just bloody up, and he got knocked back into like the ceiling, and he's not looking good. And that's how the chapter ended. So yeah, okay guys, so that's a quick recap from One Piece chapter 879, titled Big Mom Commander Dogtooth. And hey you guys, this is a new channel. This is my very first video on One Piece. I would really appreciate it if you guys comment, rate, and subscribe. Tell me what I can do better. I would love to hear from you guys, and please comment, rate, and subscribe for more. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.